we're ready to start, we'll still have you slate and where you're from, and then everything will be recorded for you.
I thought it said the Union of Marsupials. I was like,
And we're all set. Just start. Go ahead.
Mark Hughes with Forbes. I felt like, just to jump right into it, I felt like your performance was comparable to Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight. I was really blown away by it. Particularly the scene where you talk about human work. I was just like, wow. Do you think this could be the film that overcomes Oscar bias against performance capture, and that maybe this time they'll recognize these, the performances and
I mean, without taking on the weight that bears on my shoulders, first of all, thank you, and I appreciate when that was written before, but it's a lovely comparison. I think that the deal is, at the moment, people feel a little bit like it's a cheat, like we're enhanced in some way. So it's not like wearing prosthesis. So I think until that kind of misunderstanding is cleared up, and until really the artists kind of appreciate and acknowledge, like Weta has, how much data they receive from the actor and how vital it is, that will kind of perpetually be in that loop. I would love to think that is the honest truth, but I feel like there's a few more hurdles. I do feel, as I said, and as Andy iterated, that it feels like a cheat somehow. People feel a little bit like, we're kind of hyper enhanced in some kind of way, rather than the other way around, that we're enhancing what these digital artists do phenomenally, and they suddenly have nuance and subtlety rather than ears that twitch and little tails that wiggle. It's a much less cutesified version of animation. Animation does exist in it, there's no doubt. But I felt very raw doing the performance. I felt like it took me and my heart and soul, to be honest, to get out what Koba had to say. And that's what I was worried about. I mean, I should have been worried about how hard it was going to be to squat for 12 hours a day, but what I was truly concerned about was getting that, and thank goodness Matt Reeves was the director, and geez, Andy, because it was so important for me, like with the Joker, I mean, it's kind of in the name, but that thing that makes you smile about these ultra-violent individuals, these damaged, broken people, is so important, and so important to know. And it's important for me, for kids to realize that not all situations that are smiles and drinks are going to turn out good. So I could only hope. I think it's time. Andy's done so much. I mean, you can't spend 6 months with Andy and not go back and rewatch all his stuff and realize how much he is in those performances. I mean, they're Andy. They definitely are. King Kong, Gollum. Man, he gave Gollum a voice. It'd been done before, but it was not good. he gave Gollum a real honest voice, and he played one of my. I grew up reading Tintin, or as the Belgians call it, Tintin. But Captain Haddock. He gave Captain Haddock a voice. I mean, that's bringing stuff to life. That's the real deal. That's what acting is.
You achieved a subtlety and a nuance with Koba that I'm a big fan of Dead Man's Shoes. And
Thank you, dude.
I love that movie.
Thank you, man.
And Rock and Rolla as
well.
well.
Nice
And
one.
you brought the subtlety, and there was a twitchiness in Rock and Roll, of course, and there was in Dead Man's Shoes, there was the interplay between you and your brother, and that came through with even through the performance capture, and it was like you could see you coming out there, and which was really incredible.
Thank you, man. I mean, that's what you're hoping, and kind of actually, when I was doing Koba, I knew I was doing it for some poor artists in droves who were going to sit and watch that thing over and over, and I was like, I can't leave these dudes bored, you know, it's got to be something exciting. And it was such a rich character, especially, as I say, working with the people who were there, Andy and Terry's movement. The funny thing is like, it's not, the facial is important, no doubt, but that's the movement. When you're puppeteering the character, when I was puppeteering Koba, when you can see him in the very blocky form that we get to watch when we're going in the volume and learning to move like them, for a second, if you break into human, it's not real. It's suddenly crappy puppeteering, pardon my language. But if you are honestly not aware of yourself and being that movement that you've learned, it's so real. That's the other thing. We're dealing not only with, you know, it's just, I can't believe he didn't get nominated for Captain Haddock, firstly, even for Best Supporting. But once you're dealing with an ape, they're like, well, they didn't move like that, but we really did. And it was physically expensive to move like that for hours and hours. And so, yeah, I just hope there's I was ignorant to it. I thought it was just a bit of bugger bugger ape nonsense, you know, easy, but it's not. And if you don't give it honestly, the puppet just doesn't move, and so that data's not usable. And you know, there's stuff they can do, but if they've got to animate an entire ape's body, they don't animate it all. They just ask Terry if he will do it. So yeah, we're backed up, but we're backed up by Terry, you know. So that's the deal.
Did you think of it as like, I mean, there are antagonists in this story, but there's no villains. I mean,
no.
People are doing what with Koba. He did what he thought he was fighting the villains.
Indeed.
He was the good guy of his own narrative.
Yeah.
Is that how, when you approached it, did you think of it entirely as I'm the protagonist in my story?
Well, no, I mean, isn't that the way I feel like with real life? There are no evil people, only actions that can be deemed evil. I think anything you can fathom is possible, and so that's often the way I try and approach a character. It's, you know, if you can fathom something top to bottom, it has an authenticity. And so, yes, the decisions are wrong and the actions are wrong, but they're wrong as a juxtaposition. If we're given Koba's story only, we understand, and that's vitally important, because, you know, like you said with Heath Ledger's character, you didn't get insight because he gave you loads of exposition.
Right.
It was just authentic. So he was that person because of every decision he made. Therefore, they were his decisions. Therefore, he was really that person. So is he evil? His actions certainly are, but he's still a person just doing terrible things. That's the nice thing about playing an ape that then has emotional awareness, you know, some intelligence.
It was interesting to watch the film, and I was conscious of the fact that you could make this story, and if you just wrote it differently and had a different director, you could make Koba, this could be the story about him, and him overthrowing this leader who was too weak and was going to have the
Indeed.
There's a whole way to
There's a
approach
whole
that.
other spin on it. Yeah, you're dead right. There's a whole, can we look at it from this side? And actually what he did was he overthrew somebody who was too gentle and benevolent. But, you know, that's kind of what we were trying to do. That's what I was trying to do. So that's all we ever do in life. We tell our own version. So I couldn't take the whole thing.
Do you hope Koba comes back, possibly?
Yeah, I
Do you
do.
hold out hope for that?
I hold out hope for it. I mean, selfishly, purely because of the amount of seeds and blood that I'd poured into that existence. It's hard to see something die that you gave so much for. But if that's the way it is, then that's what happens. But no, my hopes are right up there that they call me and say, so we're going to negotiate another deal. Yeah.
Mine too.
Fingers
I'd
crossed.
love to
Thank
see
you,
it
dude.
Come back.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh,
I
dude,
appreciate you
wicked.
taking
All right.
time to talk
Thank
with
you,
me.
man.